Under the banner of a defense deal, the Somali and the Turkish governments have joined hands, as confirmed by Somali cabinet. The arrangement allows Turkish forces to preside over Somalian waters and airspace. Though the Somali president asserts the focus to be on combating piracy and defending fishing rights, the timing close on the heels of Ethiopia's contentious port agreement with the separatist region of Somaliland makes one ponder. So let's set about untangling this diplomatic engagement and gauge how it feeds into Turkey's foreign policy goals. Also, we will assess if it escalates or mitigates the likelihood of regional conflict in Africa's Horn. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button to stay tuned to upcoming releases. As we unpack the defense agreement between Turkey and Somalia, we appreciate that the full text isn't available yet. However, Middle East Eye informs us that it's technically coined as the Framework Agreement for Defense and Economic Cooperation. Scheduled to span 10 years, it aims to evolve with time through successive protocols. The deal encompasses an economic as well as a military dimension. Turkey has plans to partner with Somalia for developing its port facilities and shipbuilding industry for better leverage on their marine resources. On the military front, the Turkish army pledges to train the Somali army, along with the deployment of its navy in Somali waters, to curb terrorism, piracy, illegal fishing, and smuggling activities. A key feature of this agreement is the intended support from Turkey for the creation of Somalia's navy, henceforth non-existent. Now, what could be the strategic motivations behind this agreement? Turkey might gain both economically and geostrategically from this deal. As per some reports, Turkey might bag 30% of Somalia's maritime revenues, primarily originating from fishing. Plus, this agreement could also translate into increased Turkish arms sales to Somalia, benefiting Turkey's flourishing defense industry. Geostrategically, this deal will project Turkey's expanding influence in Africa and Middle East. As Western control in Africa wanes and China's overseas investments decelerate, Turkey steps in to fill the gap as an emerging geopolitical force in Africa, boosting diplomatic relations, financial investments, and even broadcasting Turkish cultural content on African channels. Somalia is a case in point. Starting 2011, Turkey has steadily increased its investment in the country, setting up the grandest Turkish embassy in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, and extending more than $1 billion in bilateral humanitarian aid till date. It now enjoys the presence of a military base in Mogadishu, and Turkish companies have a notable influence across the nation. A Turkish company runs the Mogadishu airport, and in 2020, the Somali government awarded a 14-year contract to a Turkish company for the renovation of its main port. From Somalia's standpoint, there are security reasons as well as an economic rationale for this agreement. Security-wise, their long-standing issue with piracy and recent disagreements with Ethiopia substantiate this alliance. Economically, Somalia, with the second-longest African coastline after Madagascar, has one of the global highest maritime exclusive economic zones, or EEZs, as per the UN maritime laws. This means Somalia has a 200 nautical miles maritime area from the coastline for exclusive control. Despite its maritime advantage, Somalia has struggled to cash in on the economic benefits due to its inability to safeguard its EEZ. The lack of infrastructure to support maritime trade has hampered its chances to gain from one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Piracy implications have inhibited the growth of the fishing industry as well. However, geoseismic studies reveal Somalia's potential of hosting up to 30 billion barrels worth of oil and gas reserves within its EEZ. Political instability has hampered Somali government attempts to tap into this resource. International oil companies have refrained from drilling in Somalia after the civil war of the 90s. Still, in 2022, a U.S. firm named Coastline Exploration bought offshore exploration licenses from the Somali government. With Turkey's backing, Somalia may witness a budding in-house oil industry. However, in the immediate context, Somalia's prime motivation for this agreement is Ethiopia's recent port agreement with Somaliland. In a nutshell, amidst threats of regional war in the Horn of Africa, if denied unconditional access to a port, Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed struck a 50-year agreement with Somaliland, an autonomous Somali region unrecognized internationally, to use the Berbera port. In return, Ethiopia implicitly recognizes Somaliland as a state. This deal upset the Somali government, which views Somaliland as a part of their national territory. Soon after, the Somali defense minister met his Turkish counterpart in Ankara to negotiate this new security deal. It's obvious that the new Somali-Turkish deal was in reaction to what Somalia perceives as Ethiopia's transgression into its territorial integrity. But will it serve its purpose? Does it deter Ethiopia from associating with Somaliland? We question the effectiveness of this agreement in preventing any full-scale conflict between Ethiopia and Somalia. There aren't any indications that Turkey is committed to defending Somalia against Ethiopia, and it's highly unlikely that Turkey would consider any military action against Ethiopia, given their cordial relationship. It's important to clarify that we aren't predicting an imminent war between Ethiopia and Somalia, but suggesting that this new Somali-Turkish deal may not significantly influence Ethiopia's strategy if any conflict arises. However, Turkey is poised well to mediate between the two conflicting nations, just as it's done in Ukraine and Libya, which could notch up a diplomatic win for Erdogan. On the whole, the clouds of tension seem to hover over the Horn of Africa, one of the many geopolitical hotspots in a world inching closer to uncertainty and risk. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.